Okay, secret number 2, cheating is winning. How slipping, cheating, failing, going rogue, or off-roading on your diet is the key to making it work. So this secret starts off with a story too. One time when I was visiting my home state of New Jersey, I went to the Jersey Shore and we have these legendarily large slices of pizza. And I had one of these slices of pizza and it was amazing. Hadn't had it in, I don't know, like 10, 15 years. And then once I was done with the pizza, I was like, you know what? I think I want something else that I haven't had in a while. Let me go get the strawberry frosted donut from Dunkin' Donuts, one of my favorite donuts when I was growing up. And then after I had the donut, I started thinking like, okay, well, let me have something else that like I never have. Let me go have like a caffeinated milkshake from Starbucks with like lots of whipped cream, and I usually never have that. And afterwards, like an hour or two later, I was like, oh, like not feeling well at all. And I started thinking, I'm like, because I had that slice of pizza and that was this extra special event, and because of that, I wanted this other special thing, and then from the donut, another special thing. And I'm like, oh my God, that was such like this emotional and psychological thing that I did with eating. And I actually learned from the whole thing. And I'm like, well, I don't feel bad. I don't feel like I cheated or I did anything wrong. I actually learned from this. But how did I learn? Well, number one, I learned by paying attention. And that's the first thing that we're going to talk about. You have to pay attention. So it's like we pay attention to all the areas of our life that mean something to us, right? Like we have to pay attention to work. We have to pay attention with our kids. We have to pay attention with our partners, with our spouse. If we don't pay attention in these areas, then things just go wrong and things don't work out. And so why is the area of food any different? We have to pay attention. And because I paid attention, I turned this thing, which could have been this, just throw in the towel and just start eating whatever. I turned this cheating, this off-roading experience into something positive, because I learned from it. So that's number one. We always have to pay attention. And when we're paying attention and seeing why we're doing the things we're doing, then it's never cheating. We actually need those experiences. Those experiences are really important because they show us the different emotional and psychological connections that we have with food. The second thing is that we need to do these conscious, I call them R&D missions, and I talk about them in my book. And one of the stories I share is that I was so tired of seeing all these like late night pizza commercials. I don't know if I was seeing them on YouTube or where I was seeing them, but about, Pizza Hut and Papa John's and Domino's, etc. Like all the fast food pizza places. And I just started thinking, I'm like, you know what? Like, I'm going to have them all. And I'm going to, like, in my mind, I didn't tell anybody, I'm going to deem this the Great Pizza Challenge. I'm going to figure out who has the best fast food pizza, because I had my favorite when I was growing up as a kid, but let me just see if anything's changed. So it's Little Caesars, Papa John's, Pizza Hut, and Domino's all in 1 week. And at the end of that week, I discovered something that was really important. I was like, you know what? They're all good, but they weren't great. And the whole experience was good, but it wasn't great. And I realized that our minds make things out to be what they're not. They really blow things out of proportion. And the only way to kind of cut that spell that like our mind starts to create, for especially with food for us, and it does it also with people, is that we actually have to have the thing. Now with people, we can't just be with any person that we want, any fantasy that we have. But with food, we can. And that's why these R&D missions are really important. So if you're ever thinking like, you know what, like, I don't know why, but I just feel like having this, you need to explore that. You need to go into that. And when you go into it, you're cutting the spell, so it's not going to drive you nuts. Like you're not going to feel like you're being kept from it. And it's also going to teach you something, because now you've learned to pay attention to all these little details. If you're tired of diets that force you to give up your favorite foods in order to lose weight, only to put all that weight back on once you quit that diet, then I invite you to try my completely free online program that will help you lose your first 10 to 15 pounds without giving up the foods that you love. So head on over to foodloveonline.com and get started with us today. No credit card is needed. This is a completely free online program. Even if you're incredibly busy or incredibly lazy and nothing else has worked for you in the past, this can work for you. In 3 short videos, I will take you by the hand and get you on the road to losing weight, and most importantly, happily keeping it off forever. So head over to foodloveonline.com and I'll see you over there. And this other thing that's really important, and again, it's also in my book, is that I talk about distinguishing eating for entertainment versus eating for energy. We have to have this area in our life where we're not thinking about like, am I eating the right food or whatever? It's just called eating for entertainment. We have to have that space in our life for the emotional and the psychological, for those other 2 areas, to be able to feel free. And when we have that space, we know like, hey, on Fridays, like for example, when I worked in New York City, on Fridays it was fast food Friday. So during the week I'd eat pretty good, and on Fridays we just ate whatever. And because I knew that on Friday we were gonna have anything that we wanted, like during the week I didn't care if I was eating a little bit on the healthier side. It didn't matter because I knew in my life I had this freedom. Or if I had a random friend call me up and ask me to go out to dinner, I wasn't gonna think twice about like, oh God, well, I'm eating good right now. It's like, no, this is eating for entertainment time. This has to happen. So having that distinguished in your mind and in your life, like, okay, I have times where I'm eating for me and I'm eating for energy. I'm eating to fuel myself and to feel good, biochemically, emotionally, and psychologically. And there are times when it's just like, you know what, if it's a barbecue, if it's a party or whatever, Super Bowl party, anything, you need to have that emotional and psychological freedom in your life so you know that you can eat for entertainment whenever you need to. And the last thing in this area, why cheating or off-roading or whatever you want to call it, why it's so incredibly important is that we never want anyone to say F it. And F it can be forget it, or it can be whatever else it is. But so often what happens is that people get into a situation and they're eating well or they're on a certain diet, and then they eat for entertainment one night, or they'll just have a little pizza challenge or do what I did with going to the boardwalk and you have something special, and then all of a sudden you find that you've eaten all these things you don't normally eat. People get so down on themselves and they're just like, oh, F it, I'm just gonna do whatever now, because I already broke the diet, I might as well just and you don't ever want to do that. And because you can eat whatever you want, and you should, and because you're paying attention to why certain things get triggered at certain times, whatever, you would never say that. You would never just throw in a towel, because there's no towel to ever throw in, because you can always have all of that stuff. And I'm going to show you why not saying F it is so incredibly important. So nobody loses weight in a straight line. Usually, especially with food love and non-restrictive weight loss, sometimes people, because they're going to open up to eating food that they haven't had in a while, they'll sometimes put on some weight and then it comes off and it goes down like this. And what happens is these areas, these are called upticks. These areas are incredibly important, because what happens is a person will start to lose weight, and then they're gonna feel or see that they're gonna start to put on weight. And one of the things I recommend, and again, it's in my book, never step on a scale. Your pants and a mirror are the best things for you to use, because a person's weight can fluctuate within a day, sometimes dramatically, between 5 and 20 pounds. It's crazy. So these upticks are usually when people will be like, oh, F it. And these upticks can happen because of birthday parties. It can happen because of the holiday season between Thanksgiving and New Year's. It can happen because of emotional reasons, psychological reasons, trouble at work, trouble in relationships. But it's during these upticks that we never say F it. We just stick with what we're doing in life. We see what's going on. Oh my God, I'm having these emotional difficulties, so I'm eating a little bit more. It's not a big deal. Because we're not saying F it, and then our weight just goes into the stratosphere and it gets even worse than what it was. It'll keep going down. And because we're always eating the food that we love and we're aware of the three areas that make up the area of food, the biochemical, the emotional, and psychological, we know that these are going to happen, and we also know that they're completely normal. And the other thing is that once we get into the zone of, in our ideal weight, usually what happens is this. This is very, very common. And this range, when you get into the zone, this is what happens with me. Like I'm filming this in January, post holiday season. So I've put on it, 10 to 15 pounds of that Thanksgiving to New Year's thing. It's totally normal, and I expect it, and it happens. But that's what happens within a year. And this range can be anywhere. This can be between 5 pounds to 20 pounds. So within a year, after we've gotten down to our ideal weight, we can go up and down within that zone. And the idea is, over time, we just keep shrinking that zone. We take it from 20 pounds down to 15. It'll vary 15 within a year. Then it'll vary 10. Usually between 5 and 10 pounds is pretty healthy, because there's different seasonal things. If you live in the north, you're going to have a propensity to want to eat like heavier foods, more filling foods during the winter months, and that's totally normal. And so again, when things start to go up, because we know what upticks are, and we never say F it. There's no such thing as a bad run, because we're just aware of everything. That's life. Life is going to have all sorts of runs: emotional runs, psychological runs, celebratory runs, where you're going to be so happy and you're like, oh my God, I put on like 10 pounds because I was at all of these different celebrations and stuff. That happens too. So this is very, very normal. And what happens with people that use this type of information, that use this vehicle, something like the Food Love Transformation Accelerator, they never get worried. You live in this land of peace and freedom and victory permanently, because you're permanently aware of what's going on, and you know that nothing is that big of a deal. If you put on 10 or 15 pounds, it's not that big of a deal, because you can easily take it off, and it's natural. I mean, life is not a straight line in any direction. It's constantly, it's like any stock chart. Stock charts go up like this. Well, if we invert it, that's what healthy weight loss looks like. And then when we get down to our ideal weight, it's like this. So secret number 2, to wrap it up, it's all about, there's no such thing as cheating anymore. There's no such thing as failing or falling or any of that kind of stuff, because all of it is something that we can learn from, and all of it is a natural part of weight loss and of life. If you're tired of diets that force you to give up your favorite foods in order to lose weight, only to put all that weight back on once you quit that diet, then I invite you to try my completely free online program that will help you lose your first 10 to 15 pounds without giving up the foods that you love. So head on over to foodloveonline.com and get started with us today. No credit card is needed. This is a completely free online program. Even if you're incredibly busy or incredibly lazy and nothing else has worked for you in the past, this can work for you. In 3 short videos, I will take you by the hand and get you on the road to losing weight, and most importantly, happily keeping it off forever. So head over to foodloveonline.com and I'll see you over there.